I greet you, ladies and gentlemen, as I start this tutorial on some calculations that are pertinent when we're looking at foreign exchange markets. But before I commence the calculations, I'll start with a review of the forward premium, which is what we are going to zero in on. Now, if you are looking at a forward premium, it refers to a situation or a scenario in which the forward or expected rate, future price for a currency, or the forward rate of a currency is greater than the spot rate or the spot price. It is an indication that as far as the domestic foreign currency market is concerned, domestic currency is going to depreciate. In other words, you will need a higher volume of it or more quantity of it to trade in order to obtain another currency. According to what I've written there in italics, it is an indication by the market that the current domestic exchange rate is going to increase against the other currency. And this increase is depreciation. It is not appreciation. If we need less of our currency in order to purchase a unit of the foreign currency, then the domestic currency is said to be appreciating or firming. F-I-R-M-I-N-G. It is firming. The currency is firmed. So the forward premium can only exist in a scenario where the forward rate is higher than the spot rate, or the forward exchange rate, the forward or future price of a currency is greater than the current or spot price of a currency. So in terms of figures, we would expect the forward rate to be higher than the spot rate. So if the forward rate is higher than the spot rate, it means we are dealing with a forward premium. And we can calculate the annualized forward premium, which is what we are going to do this afternoon. If the forward rate is lower than the spot rate, which will be illustrating a situation where the domestic currency is going to appreciate or firm instead of depreciating. If the domestic currency is going to firm, then we need less of it, or a lower volume of it, vis-a-vis another currency, maybe the South African rand or the United States dollar. So without wasting time, I'm going to show you the scenario that we have at hand. So the scenario that we have at hand, ladies and gentlemen, it is a scenario where we have got an example of an exchange between the Japanese yen and the United States dollar. Maybe these are traders located in Japan and in the United States of America, or just the traders in Asia. Then, because the United States dollar is a reserve currency, it's used even in other countries. For instance, Zimbabwe is dollarized. We primarily use the US dollar for serious commercial transactions. So the duration of this forward rate agreement is 90 days. The 90-day yen to dollar forward rate agreement. And the scenarios are, number one, the forward exchange rate of 109.5 Japanese yen. The spot rate is 109.38. The second scenario is that of 110.5. The spot rate is 109.5. And the final scenario is that of 110.5, and the final spot rate is 110.38. So without wasting time, I'm going to demonstrate the calculations. I'm going to demonstrate the calculations. To demonstrate the calculations, I'll transition from this screen to another screen. So I will now demonstrate how these calculations are done. We'll start with the first scenario. The first scenario is of a spot rate, scenario number 1. The first scenario is of so I'm going to demonstrate how those simple calculations are done and the interpretation of those calculations. So the first scenario is a scenario of scenario number 1. Where we are told that we have got a forward rate. It's a forward exchange rate. It's a forward exchange rate of 109.5. The spot rate is 109.38. So the annualized forward premium is calculated as follows. What we are calculating is the annualized forward premium. It is the annualized forward premium. So to calculate that, we open bracket, we say 109.5 because the annualized forward premium is calculated as the difference between the forward rate and the spot rate. And then we divide by the spot rate. And then we multiply it by 360 over 90. So it's one open bracket, 109 minus 109.38 all divided by 109.38. 8 times 360 divided by 90 multiplied by 100. And the answer, if you do your calculations, you realize that your answer is 0.4. The answer is 0.4388, which is approximately 0.44%. So 0.44% is the annualized forward premium. It's expressed as a percentage. The next thing is the interpretation. What does this positive annualized forward premium of 0.44% tell us? It tells us that the US dollar is strong relative to the Japanese yen, since the US dollar forward exchange rate exceeds the spot rate by a premium of 12 cents. It's by a premium of 12, whatever Japanese cents, I don't know, they are 0.12 yen. We can calculate the difference between the forward rate and the spot rate. It is 109.5 minus 109.38. It's just a simple subtraction. 2, and then 4 minus 3, it is 1 point. Then here it's now 0. So that's where we are getting the 12 cents of a yen. I don't know what the cents Japanese yen are called, but it's 0.12 yen per US dollar. So that's the premium, the forward premium. So the implication of what I just said is that the Japanese yen would trade at a discount because its forward value regarding the US dollar is less than the spot value. So the forward value of the Japanese yen is less than its spot value. In the present, the Japanese yen is stronger because it's trading at 109.38 compared to in the future after 90 days. The forward exchange rate is 109.5, which means it will be trading at a discount, which is a lower value, some kind of a depreciated value in terms of the forward exchange rate, which is prevailing in these foreign exchange markets. So once more, just to revise, the calculation is the forward rate minus the spot rate, the difference between the two, divided by the spot rate, all multiplied by, or just multiplied by 360 over 90. We use the 360-day rule, not 365. In corporate finance, our year is 360 days for purposes of calculations. And then divided by 90, the 90 is the duration of the forward rate agreement multiplied by 100, so that we get the annualized forward premium as a percentage. That's why we're multiplying by 100. You can cross-check the calculations using your calculator. So this is the first scenario. This is the first scenario. That's the first scenario, which I'm just deleting. I will demonstrate the second scenario. The third scenario, I'll leave it as a homework for you to just handle the third scenario. To handle the third scenario and comment on it. So we're going to the second scenario. We're going to the second scenario. So I'm going to demonstrate the second scenario. I'll say for scenario number 2, just to recall, we need to recall our forward rate. Our forward exchange rate. Our forward exchange rate is 110.5. The spot rate of the Japanese yen to the US dollar is equal to 109.5. So we've got a forward rate where the Japanese yen has clearly depreciated, or it's expected to depreciate in terms of value, where the exchange rate is expected to increase in volume or quantity terms, whereas the spot rate is of higher value. So clearly we've got a scenario for a forward premium. A forward premium. So since we have a scenario of a forward premium, it's imperative for us to calculate the annualized forward premium. And for us to calculate the annualized forward premium, to calculate the annualized forward premium, we calculate it as follows. It's open brackets, twice. So open brackets, let me delete those two brackets. Open brackets, 110.5, which is the forward rate, minus 109.5 divided by 109.5 multiplied by 360 divided by 90. We still have the same duration for all the three scenarios, multiplied by 100 for us to get the annualized forward premium as a percentage. So what we get is 3, after factoring in our calculations or our figures into a calculator, we get 3.6529. So when the approximation of this is approximately 3.65%. Was this kind of depreciation is a huge depreciation of 1 yen. It's a depreciation of 1 yen. So the annualized forward premium for 3 months is 3.65%. So again, in this scenario, the US dollar is strong relative to the Japanese yen. Since the dollar's forward value exceeds the spot value by a premium of 1 yen, 1 Japanese yen, you can calculate the premium. It is 110.5 minus 109.5. We get 0, 10 minus 9, it's 1. And then 10 minus 10 is 0. So we have got 1 Japanese yen. We have got 1 Japanese yen. We have got 1 Japanese yen as the premium. So the implication is that the Japanese yen is trading at a discount since its forward value regarding the US dollar is less than its spot value. It is less than its spot value by 1 yen. The gap between the two rates, the forward rate and the spot rate, is 1 yen, as you can see. So still it will trade at a discount. So the weaker of the two currencies, when we are looking at a forward premium, trades at a discount. And the stronger of the two currencies trades at a premium. So the weaker of the two currencies, which is the Japanese yen in both scenarios, will trade at a discount, since its forward rate is lower than its spot rate or current rate. So the third scenario is just more of the same calculations. It's me repeating almost the same thing that I've been doing for scenario number 1 and scenario number 2. And for me to avoid wasting time, I'm going to clear the screen and then resume for the annualized forward discount. For the annualized forward discount, the scenarios that I will give you the scenarios straight away. The first scenario is the scenario of a forward rate, some kind of an inverted situation. The forward exchange rate is equal to 109.5, and the spot rate between the Japanese yen and the United States dollar is 109.38. We've sort of, no, I've made a mistake. uh, it has to be an inversion. The forward exchange rate is 109.38, and the spot rate between the Japanese yen and the United States dollar is 109.5 Japanese yen. So the first calculation, we just use the same method that we used the last time. We take the forward rate of 109.38 and subtract the spot rate of 109.5, and then we divide by 109.5 and we multiply by 360 over 90, and we multiply by 100 to get the annualized, the forward discount as a percentage. So the answer that we're going to get is obviously negative because we're subtracting a bigger number, 109.5, from a smaller number, 109.38. It means the answer is negative. It's negative, and then we subtract the smaller number from the bigger number, which in the final analysis, when we compute all of these figures in a calculator, we must get minus 0.438%, which is approximately minus 0.44%. So that's the first scenario, ladies and gentlemen. As you can see, it's a discount. One, the sign is negative. It shows you that we are dealing with a discount because the sign is negative. Then it's an annualized forward discount of 0.44%. What it simply means in this scenario is that the yen is strong relative to the US dollar, since its forward rate is less than its spot rate. Its forward rate is 109.38 after 90 days, whereas its spot rate is 109.5, which is lower. So we expect the Japanese yen to firm vis-a-vis the US dollar. So the Japanese yen will trade at a premium. In the previous scenario, it was trading at a discount. But in this instance, it will trade at a premium because its forward rate regarding the US dollar is less than its spot rate. Its forward rate regarding the US dollar is less than its spot rate. So because we expect the Japanese yen to appreciate, it is trading at a premium. So this Japanese yen can only trade at a premium when we are looking at a forward discount, or when we have calculated a forward discount. And the forward discount can only be calculated if the spot rate is higher than the forward rate. So that's the scenario. The spot rate must be greater than the forward exchange rate. The forward exchange rate. The spot rate must be higher than the forward exchange rate. For us to be talking of an annualized, an annualized forward discount. We can only talk of an annualized forward discount if the spot rate is greater than the forward rate, which is the scenario that we've just dealt with. I want to demonstrate my last calculation for the annualized forward discount. So I'll go to scenario number 2, where the forward exchange, where the forward exchange rate is the forward exchange rate is 109.5, and the spot rate is 110.5. Is 110.5. So the annualized forward discount is calculated as follows. We say open double brackets, 109.5 minus 110.5 divided by 110.5. I just want to put the second bracket, multiplied by 360 divided by 90, close brackets, multiplied by 100 multiplied by 100, which is equal to, when you input all of these figures in a calculator or a computer, you get minus 3.61. You can verify the calculation. 6199, which is approximately minus 3.62%. So as you can see, the comment is that we are still dealing with a forward discount. As you can see, the sign is negative. This sign is negative. So it's negative 362.5, implying that the domestic currency, which is the Japanese yen, is appreciating. I mean, it's expected to appreciate since the forward rate is lower than the spot rate. So the interpretation is that in this scenario, again, the Japanese yen is strong relative to the USD, since its forward rate is less than its spot. Thus, the Japanese yen will trade at a premium because its forward rate regarding the USD is less than the spot rate. So the forward rate regarding the USD is less than the spot rate, implying that we expect the Japanese yen to firm in the future, whereas the United States dollar, the currency of the country which is our trading partner, expected to depreciate. Ceteris paribus. You can do the other calculations on your own. I believe that I am done with what I wanted to share. I believe that I am done with what I wanted to share. So I will see you in the next tutorial when I'm demonstrating other calculations. Thank you so much for listening in.